while keeping the original length and flow. It's often said, your world stands or falls by your words. And I tell you now, there's only one true poverty on this earth, the poverty of what you speak. You don't suffer from a missed opportunity, a market crash, or an empty bank account. No, you suffer because you've trained your tongue to speak of lack. You've declared, I can't afford it, and the world responded, so be it. You've said money is tight, and the universe restricted the flow. You've grumbled, things never go my way, and the law affirmed, as you have spoken, so shall it be done. Let me ask you, what if the real problem isn't your job, your debt, or the economy, but the very words that leave your lips each morning? What if the limitation isn't in your bank account, but in your vocabulary? I say this with passion. The most expensive thing you will ever do is complain. One sentence of doubt, one whisper of fear, one habitual sigh of not enough invites the entire realm of limitation to your doorstep. You see, every word you speak is a decree. Every phrase you utter gives form to the unseen. You are a spiritual architect, constantly commanding, always creating. But what are you creating? A mansion of abundance, or a prison of scarcity? Too many build daily with bricks of worry and mortar of fear, then lament the outcome of their own spiritual design. I recall a woman once telling me, I've done every affirmation in the book, Florence, but my situation hasn't changed. I asked her simply, what do you say when no one's listening? She paused. Well, I guess I still say, I don't know how I'll make it. I told her the truth. That one sentence has cancelled every affirmation you've ever spoken. You can't affirm abundance for 10 minutes in the morning and then speak defeat all afternoon. The law isn't mocked. The universe responds to consistent rhythm, not just rehearsal. So, I offer you this revelation as we begin. Train your mouth, and you train your life. If you desire unlimited supply, you must become incapable of speaking anything less. If you seek abundance, you must banish every phrase of poverty from your lips. As it is written, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Your fruits haven't failed you, your tongue has. You might have inherited a family of warriors. You might have learned to vent, to fret, to joke about being broke. But you are not bound by that tongue. You can retrain it. You can cleanse it. You can awaken it to speak only supply, only surplus, only sufficiency, and more. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are at the mercy of your own mouth. And your words, yes, even those spoken in frustration, are writing the next chapter of your life. So the question isn't where will my provision come from, but what am I speaking into existence today? Let every other voice be silent now. Let doubt and debt bow before the throne of your command. For you are about to retrain the most powerful tool God gave you, your tongue, and align it with the river of unlimited supply. Speak rightly, and all things will be added to you. Let the mouth that cursed you now bless you. Let the tongue that bound you now set you free, and let the sentence you speak next be one that ends lack forever. The tongue is not flesh. The tongue is not bone. The tongue is law in motion. The tongue is a wand, a rudder, a spiritual key that unlocks or binds. Scripture declares, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. With it we bless God, and with it we curse men. But I say to you, the greatest curse ever released is not against another, but against oneself. When a person curses their own supply with their mouth, it is written in the book of James that the tongue is like the helm of a great ship, tiny, but it turns the entire vessel. That vessel is your life, and your tongue is steering it right now. Where is it going? Toward overflow or toward famine? Toward divine provision or toward man-made struggle? Your tongue is not an accessory. It is not decoration. It is an instrument of causation. What you continually say becomes what you eventually see. What you speak becomes. You may fast, you may pray, you may tithe, you may hustle. But if your mouth is full of contradiction, your harvest will collapse under the weight of your own undoing. The universe was spoken into existence. Let there be light, and there was light. God didn't negotiate. He didn't explain. He didn't qualify. He spoke, and the law obeyed. So why then do you imagine that you, made in the image and likeness of God, can speak of debt, disaster, and delay, and expect divine supply to arrive anyway? Every time you say, I can't afford that, you are worshiping limitation. Every time you say, I'm broke, you are prophesying bondage. And every time you say, it's hard to make money, you are enshrining that difficulty into law. The law of the tongue shows no favoritism. It obeys whoever speaks. I have seen the most talented men remain poor because their mouths were lazy. I have seen humble women walk into wealth because their mouths were faithful. The question isn't, do I deserve it? The question is, have I spoken it? You see, the spoken word is a spiritual seed. It never disappears. It enters the invisible and attaches itself to form. And like all seeds, it brings forth after its kind. The word struggle births struggle. The word overflow births overflow. The word never enough becomes an atmosphere. The word unlimited supply becomes a magnetic field. There is no neutral word. All speech is charged. It is either a decree of dominion or a declaration of defeat. And so I say to you again, your tongue is your instrument of wealth. Train it to play the music of abundance. Speak these now with me. My words are my wealth. My mouth is a magnet for divine supply. I no longer partner with poverty, not even in jest. I bless my life with every sentence. Do you feel the shift? The law responds to rhythm, not repetition. Speak like the one who holds the keys to the kingdom. Speak like the air you already are. Speak like God is listening, because He is. And more than listening, He is multiplying what you say. So then, do not throw away your inheritance with one more careless phrase. Retrain the tongue. Guard it like gold, because it is your first treasury. And the moment your mouth aligns with heaven, earth must obey. The first war is never in the wallet. It is never in the paycheck. It is never in the price of gold, the collapse of a market, or the state of the nation. The first war is not in the facts. The first war is in the mouth. Every battle of supply begins with a sentence. Every financial shift begins with a whisper, and every collapse begins with a careless tongue. You do not wake up in lack. You speak your way there. Before money leaves your hands, it leaves your words. The adversary is subtle. He doesn't take your abundance by force. He tricks you into speaking it away. He waits for the moment you say, I don't know how I'll pay for this, and then he agrees with you. He waits for the sigh, the sarcastic remark, the casual curse over your own life, and he writes it into reality. You must understand, the enemy of divine supply doesn't need your body. He needs your agreement. And the fastest way he gets it is through your mouth. Think of the phrases you've heard since childhood. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Don't get your hopes up. That's for rich people. These phrases weren't just innocent sayings. They were installations. They were verbal spells that wrote themselves onto your subconscious. And without realizing it, you memorized them. You inherited them. You even repeated them. And in repeating them, you began to build a life of agreement with lack. But now, beloved soul, the time has come to declare war on the lie. Not with emotion, not with effort, but with the spoken word of truth. Every time you open your mouth, you are either reinforcing the lie or collapsing it. And if you will not rebuke it with words, the lie will remain on the throne. The battlefield isn't on your doorstep. It is on your tongue. The enemy comes to tempt you into defeat speech, and you must train your mouth to reject it like poison. You may feel it rise within you, fear, frustration, complaint, but you must not let it reach your lips. You must intercept it mid and declare, I am not available for lack. My mouth does not serve fear. I no longer speak against my own wealth. Because hear me now, what you do not refuse with your words, you silently invite. Some of you are fighting for your supply with effort, with stress, with sleepless nights, but you are still speaking defeat. And so the supply withholds itself, not out of cruelty, but out of law. You cannot speak against your desire and expect it to obey. Train your mouth to speak only what you want multiplied, and refuse to fight this battle in silence. Speak boldly, speak deliberately, speak with sacred discipline, because once your mouth is trained, the battlefield dissolves. You no longer war for abundance. You speak it into place. Now prepare yourself. In the next section, we step into instruction and truth. How to actually speak only unlimited supply. You must now become the master of your tongue, the guardian of your gates, the overseer of your own spiritual speech. For it is not enough to silence doubt. You must replace it. It is not enough to stop speaking lack. You must speak supply. Truth must take up residence in your mouth, not as a Sunday ritual, not as a temporary affirmation, but as a permanent dialect of divine inheritance. Here is your instruction in truth. Never speak of money as though it is separate from God. Never speak of bills as though they are burdens. Never speak of supply as though it is scarce. Never speak of lack as though it is real. When someone says, "It's too expensive," you respond within yourself, "Nothing is too expensive for divine substance." When the voice of worry rises up, where will it come from? You answer, it will come from wherever it is now, by divine law. When you look at your balance and feel the pinch, do not echo that fear. Speak abundance in its place. Here is the great reversal. What you want but do not yet see must become what you speak, and what you fear but currently face must never cross your lips. Say with me now, every dollar I touch is divine substance in motion. There is no delay in divine supply. My wealth is not waiting, it is obeying my word. I speak increase, and increase answers. You must become so practiced in speaking only supply that even under pressure, even in uncertainty, even in the shadow of debt, your tongue refuses to betray you. Your mouth must become unavailable to fear. You must speak of money with reverence, not resistance. You must bless the bills you pay and speak multiplication over every transaction. You must cease to vent about money with others who walk in doubt. Your mouth is not a garbage can for anxiety. It is an altar, a spiritual microphone, broadcasting into the field of divine form. In your conversations, speak only overflow. In your self-talk, speak only provision. In your silent moments, whisper only truth. Do not rehearse your old situation. Replace it. Speak as one already rich, already favored, already resourced, not to pretend, but to align, because the universe is not responding to your need, is responding to your word. And your word must now speak only unlimited supply. Let us continue. You are now ready to begin the training of the tongue. In the next section, I will walk you step by step through the daily rhythm that reprograms your speech for abundance. You cannot tame the tongue by willpower. You cannot retrain it with silence. You must replace the rhythm of fear with the rhythm of law. Just as the pianist trains their fingers and the singer trains their voice, you must train your mouth daily, deliberately, and with reverence. Here is how you begin. Step 1. Cleanse the mouth of poverty speech. You cannot build a temple with broken bricks. The first step is to cleanse the tongue of every phrase that dishonors divine supply. Write them down, the sentences you hear yourself speak when you're under stress. I'm broke. I can't afford that. Money goes out faster than it comes in. I don't know how I'll pay for this. It's always something. This is just how it is. These phrases are not facts, they are vows. Vows of bondage wrapped in casual language. Renounce them now. Say aloud, I cancel every word I have spoken against my supply. I release every sentence of fear and replace it with truth. My tongue no longer cooperates with lack. Let the inner cleansing begin, not through silence, but through substitution. Step 2. Choose 3 supply sentences and speak them morning, noon, and night. The subconscious is reprogrammed by rhythm, not effort. You must speak truth often, not just emotionally. Select 3 declarations that vibrate with truth and speak them with focus. I walk in divine supply. Every need is met before I speak it. Unexpected wealth flows to me with ease. Say these out loud 3 times each morning before you check a phone or think a thought. Say them again before lunch. Say them again at night, especially if fear tries to visit. You are creating a new oral economy, one where wealth is attracted by the voice of law, not the noise of worry. Step 3. Reject sympathy-based speech. There will come a moment at work, with family, in casual conversation, when someone will invite you back into old speech. They will say, we're all struggling right now. They'll joke, we're poor but happy. They'll sigh, this economy is killing us. And in that moment, you must not participate. You must bless their speech in silence and respond with law. You can say, I've learned to trust divine supply, or simply speak no further. Do not align with poverty, even for approval. Your mouth is not a mood ring. It is a manifestation tool. Step 4. Speak to your wallet and bank account. Do not avoid them. Do not dread them. Speak to them. Open your wallet. Look at the bills, the cards, the compartments. Say aloud, you are always full. You overflow with divine money. Where you once held lack, you now hold law. Log into your bank account, even if the numbers disappoint you, and declare, this is not final, this is temporary appearance. I speak increase over you now. Money multiplies in this account by divine decree. Money is not repelled by truth, it is magnetized by command. Step 5. End each day with supply speech. Just before sleep, when the veil is thinnest and your subconscious is listening without resistance, declare, there is no end to God's supply. While I sleep, provision is preparing. I rise into new wealth because I speak new truth. Let these be the final vibrations your body hears. You will wake up aligned. You will move differently. You will speak with quiet authority, and money will know where to go, to the one who speaks like a spiritual heir. You are not weak. You are not behind. You have simply been untrained, and now you are being retrained. You are taking the mouth that once cursed your flow and turning it into a river of divine release. Continue. The training has begun. Poverty isn't primarily an experience, it's a language. And for many, it has become a native tongue. You learned it in your household. You practiced it in school. You reinforced it in conversation. And now, without even realizing, you've become fluent in verbal limitation. But I tell you boldly, the habit of verbal poverty must be broken, or wealth will fear your mouth. Wealth listens for invitation. It listens for praise. It listens for confident, longered speech. But when it hears worry, sarcasm, complaint, or scarcity dressed up as a joke, it withdraws not out of punishment, but by divine law. What you mock, you block. What you rehearse, you remanifest. The most dangerous sentences are not the loudest. They are the subtle ones. I'll never be rich, but that's okay. I'm just not good with money. That's above my pay grade. I always get stuck right before a breakthrough. You may think you're being humble. You're being real. You're just being honest. But what you're actually doing is carving lack into the walls of your mind with your own mouth, and the law is always listening. To break this habit, you must first observe it. Watch what you say when you're not watching. Listen to yourself in casual speech. Take inventory of every phrase that leans toward lack, frustration, or limitation, then interrupt it immediately, audibly. If you catch yourself saying, I can't afford that, replace it instantly with, all that is mine by divine right is now released to me. If you start to say, I never have enough, interrupt yourself with, God is my instant and constant supply. Do not let these phrases finish themselves. Do not give them the breath of completion. Cut them off with truth. Slice them down with scripture. Replace the groove of poverty with the groove of power. You are not a victim of speech. You are a steward, and just as a gardener removes weeds before they spread, you must now remove every weed of worry, every root of resignation, every vine of verbal defeat. The habit may try to come back. You may feel it rise in your throat, but each time you intercept it, you gain strength. Each time you replace it, you widen the channel. Each time you refuse it, you honor the law of abundance. You are not here to describe life, you are here to create it. So speak not what you've seen, speak what God has already declared. Say this now, I am breaking the habit of poverty speech. I speak only what I want, multiplied. My words no longer echo fear, they release supply. And so it is. She came to me weary. Her shoulders held the weight of 2 years of effort without reward. A business that had promise, but no profit. She said, Miss Shinn, I do all the things. I advertise, I hustle, I pray, I network, but the money trickles in like a faucet with rusted pipes. I don't understand. I listened not to her business plan, but to her words. In the span of 10 minutes, she said, business is slow right now. It's hard to stand out. I guess people just don't have money. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And there it was. The leak wasn't in her strategy. It was in her speech. Her mouth had become a mirror of the outer world instead of a command to the unseen. I said to her, you are not tired from work. You are tired from agreeing with appearances. You are not blocked by market forces. You are blocked by your own tongue. I gave her one decree. I do not serve the economy. I serve divine supply. And I instructed her, speak it before every call. Speak it before checking your bank balance. Speak it before writing a post, making an offer, setting a price. And most importantly, do not ever again say what is not happening. She obeyed. She rewired her tongue. She kept a written list of every sentence that slipped into fear, and she replaced it with one of truth. Within a week, she received an unexpected inquiry from a former client who not only hired her back, but referred her to 3 others. Within 2 weeks, she raised her prices, not with fear, but with faith. And by the end of the month, her income had doubled, not because she worked harder, not because she changed her logo or rewrote her funnel, but because she trained her mouth to bless her business instead of bind it. Hear me now. It is not your job to figure out how the supply comes. It is your job to speak as one who knows it is already here. That woman did not manifest success. She stopped speaking failure. She ceased to curse her own vine. And suddenly, the fruit appeared. There is no hustle more powerful than a sanctified tongue. There is no marketing plan greater than a mouth aligned with God. Say this with me now. I speak life to my business. I call in overflow by my decree. My words are the first transaction of wealth. I do not hustle. I harmonize with supply. Now watch what happens when your tongue becomes your first investor. There are 3 phrases I call forbidden. Not because they offend people, but because they violate law. They do not align with truth. They do not honor divine supply. They speak defeat into form. And if you wish to walk in abundance, you must never let them pass your lips again. Forbidden phrase, number 1, I can't afford it. This phrase is not a budget, it's a curse. It shuts the door to divine channels. It tells your subconscious, we live in a world of limits, and it commands the universe to match that frequency. Instead, if something is not for you at the moment, say, if it is mine by divine right, it will come to me with ease. This affirms truth without denying appearance. It leaves the gate open for provision to arrive through unexpected channels. Remember, you don't serve the number in your account. You serve infinite supply. Forbidden phrase number 2. That's too expensive. When you say this, you are not judging the item. You are judging yourself. You are announcing to heaven, I do not believe I'm worthy of increase. You are affirming lack consciousness. Every time you put a price tag above your identity, replace it with divine substance meets all desires. If this is for me, it is already paid for in full. This removes the limitation and aligns you with receptivity. The kingdom is not cheap, but it is rich in supply. There is no virtue in staying small to survive the price. Forbidden phrase, number 3, money is tight. This one slips out of so many mouths during stress, bills, or business setbacks. But it is one of the most spiritually dangerous phrases you can speak. Why? Because it implies that money is the source and God is not. It projects restriction, which creates resistance. Instead, say, money flows freely and multiplies wherever I speak blessing. You are not here to measure your provision. You are here to declare it, to speak it, to align with it. Speak as one who knows the facet of God cannot run dry. These 3 phrases are not harmless. They are agreements, spoken covenants with lack, and every time you say them, you reset your vibration to deficiency. You must now decide, will you speak from fear or from faith? Will you repeat the language of the world or the law of the Spirit? Let this be your new decree. I no longer serve these phrases. My mouth is reserved for supply. My speech multiplies what I want, not what I fear. Now walk forward with a sanctified tongue and refuse to lend your voice to the enemy of increase. You cannot speak abundance from a mouth that has not first beheld it in the mirror. The mirror is not just a surface of glass. It is the gate of agreement. It is where you must come face to face with the creator of your financial reality, not your job, not your bank, not your past. You. The mirror reveals what the mouth has accepted, and the mouth reveals what the mirror still believes. If you cannot look yourself in the eyes and declare, I am the vessel of unlimited supply, then every other affirmation will be hollow. I tell you now with authority, you must look yourself in the face and align your identity with your declarations, not once, not weekly, but daily. Here is your instruction. Stand before the mirror. Let no fear linger behind your eyes. Let no shame hover in your posture. Let no doubt whisper from the corners of your mouth. Look boldly and say, you are not a beggar. You are a builder of worlds. You are not waiting on provision. You are walking in it. Your reflection is not debt. It is dominion. Your face is the face God finances. Supply flows to you because you have finally agreed. Say it until your face changes. Say it until your voice deepens. Say it until the old image shatters and the truth of who you are emerges. This is not vanity. This is vibration. You will not attract what you do not believe belongs in your reflection. Speak to the mirror like it is the mouth of God, because when you do, your body begins to believe. Your subconscious reprograms, your vibration realigns, your gate opens. The mirror is not a passive surface, it is a spiritual witness, and it is waiting for you to say, I no longer speak from fear, I speak from truth. My supply is not somewhere out there. My supply is me spoken, aligned, and activated. Say it again, this time like you mean it, like your reflection is listening because it is. You do not wait for wealth. You declare it. You do not ask for increase. You agree with it. The tongue is the gate, and the declaration is the key. If you want to see what has never appeared before, you must speak what you've never dared to say. Let these words pass not only through your lips, but through your cells, your organs, your finances, your future. Speak each line slowly, with rhythm, with reverence, with full authority. I walk in unlimited supply, for I speak from unlimited source. Divine substance is the only economy I serve, and it knows no restriction. I cast the burden of financial struggle on the Christ within, and I go free to receive all that is mine. I speak wealth, and wealth responds. Every time I open my mouth, heaven opens a channel. Money is not my master, it is my messenger. I call it in by decree. My voice is a spiritual magnet for provision, profit, and prosperity. My words are no longer casual, they are causal. I have trained my mouth to multiply, not measure. The more I bless my supply, the more it reveals itself to me. Now pause, breathe, feel. Let the vibration settle. These are not affirmations for the sake of repetition. These are spoken contracts with the invisible realm. Every line you speak carves a new pathway in the subconscious. Every decree you make reorganizes the atmosphere around you. Speak them in the morning. Speak them while walking. Speak them while handling money. Speak them in the mirror. Speak them when fear rises. Speak them even when your eyes see lack. Especially then, the tongue of a trained spiritual being does not reflect conditions. It commands them. You are not describing your life anymore. You are designing it. So speak boldly. Speak rhythmically. Speak daily. For it is written, Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Job 22:28. Your word is your wand, and every sentence is shaping the form of your fortune. There is a sacred law that governs all mental transformation, the law of substitution. You cannot hold two opposing thoughts in the same space at the same time. One must give way. The stronger vibration takes dominion. So when a thought of lack appears, when your mind says, I can't, I won't, there isn't enough, you do not argue with it, you do not analyze it, you replace it, you substitute the false with the true. This is not denial, this is dominion. You do not pretend lack isn't knocking, you just don't invite it in. Instead, you open the door to truth, and truth always displaces the lie. Let me give you examples. When the thought arises, there's not enough money for rent, you speak, my supply is infinite, and my rent is already paid by divine channels now in motion. When the fear whispers, what if this client doesn't pay? You substitute, God is the source of my income, not man. All owed to me is paid in full through divine law. When the anxiety trembles, I'll never get ahead, you speak the truth. I walk in divine timing, and nothing is withheld from me. My progress is guaranteed by spiritual law. You see, you must be quicker than fear. You must be more rehearsed in truth than in panic. When a lack thought appears, do not sit with it. Substitute immediately. Why? Because every thought left unchecked becomes a word, and every word becomes a world. You must train your mind not just to react, but to replace. That is the law. That is the victory. So declare this now. I do not dwell in thoughts of lack. I substitute fear with faith. I substitute panic with power. My mind obeys my word, and my word obeys the law. Only truth is spoken. Only truth is housed. Only truth remains. You are not at the mercy of thoughts. You are the ruler of the inner court, and what you allow to remain is what you have chosen to reign. You do not drift into spiritual mastery. You decree your way into it, and if your mouth has for years been trained by fear, lack, frustration, sarcasm, or worldly defeat, then it must now be retrained by spirit. For the next 7 days, I give you this command. Speak as one who walks with God, or do not speak at all. Every day you will select 3 declarations. You will say them in the mirror. You will say them before you touch money. You will say them when fear tries to enter. You will say them before sleep, and you will speak them until your cells believe. Here is your 7-day spoken supply challenge. Day 1. My words are gates of wealth. I no longer prophesy poverty. Everything I speak multiplies. Day 2. I now receive unexpected supply from unseen channels. There is no limit in divine mind, and I think in divine rhythm. My tongue is trained in truth. Day 3. Lack no longer recognizes me. I dissolve the lie of not enough. God finances my ideas, my needs, and my joy. Day 4. My voice magnetizes miracles. I speak, and provision obeys. All that I desire now comes clothed in divine timing. Day 5. I cast the burden of worry on the Christ within. My supply is secure, immediate, and constant. I speak increase, and increase arrives. Day 6. Every time I open my mouth, heaven moves. I no longer curse my life with casual words. My daily speech is a wealth frequency. Day 7. My language is divine. My declarations build my world. I am the voice of abundance made flesh. Say them when you rise. Say them before each transaction. Say them when the world tries to speak doubt into your ear. Your mouth is no longer rented by fear. It is owned by truth. 7 days, that is your command. Not perfection, but practice. Not performance, but power. At the end of 7 days, your outer world may still look the same, but your spiritual authority will have shifted, and what you've planted by word must return to you by law. Say this now: I accept the 7-day word challenge. My mouth is under divine authority. I will speak as the rich speak, and I will walk as the rich walk. It is done. It is sealed. It is law. Jesus Christ never begged. He never bartered. He never lacked, and he never waited to speak until conditions were perfect. He spoke to command perfection into place. The Christ did not describe appearances. He declared dominion. At the wedding in Cana, when the wine ran out, he didn't say, "There's not enough." He didn't ask how much was left. He didn't analyze the economics. He simply gave a spiritual instruction: fill the jars with water. And then he spoke, "Draw some out now," and it became wine. He spoke, and it became in the wilderness with the multitudes. When the disciples cried, "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish." Jesus did not repeat that lack. He did not speak agreement with what the eyes saw. He looked up, he blessed, he broke, and he distributed. And what happened? Multiplication. And in that multiplication, no one went without. There were even baskets left over. That is divine law in motion through spoken faith. Even when facing the tomb of Lazarus, when the stench of death and the sorrow of mourners filled the air, Jesus did not say, "It is too late." He lifted his voice. He said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me." And then he called into the darkness, "Lazarus, come forth," and the dead obeyed. You see, Christ always spoke from supply, never from shortage, and he said, "Greater works shall you do." But you cannot do his works while speaking man's words. You cannot perform miracles while repeating murmurs. You cannot multiply while speaking mediocrity. The Jesus model is not passive. It is proclamatory. It moves the unseen with sound. It commands order out of chaos. It calls what is not as though it is until it is. Say this now with holy fire: I speak from Christ's mind, not carnal mind. I speak as he spoke, with certainty, not with strain. My words do not return void. They return multiplied. As Christ multiplied loaves, so I multiply provision with my voice. You are not trying to imitate a religious figure. You are awakening the Christ within. And that Christ always speaks from abundance. He was a man like many others, disciplined, responsible, worn thin by labor, and swallowed by the belief that toil was the price for survival. He earned just enough to stay afloat, but never enough to rise. And when I met him, he said, "Miss Shinn, I can't afford to leave this job, but I feel dead staying in it." His mouth was filled with respectable defeat. He spoke facts, but never truth. He described his income, his expenses, his boss, the market, but nowhere in his speech was there faith. Nowhere in his language did the law of supply have a place to land. I gave him a single instruction: for the next 21 days, say nothing about money unless it aligns with divine supply. He was to stop confessing lack. He was to stop repeating the narrative of exhaustion. He was to train his mouth to speak wealth, even when his paycheck whispered otherwise. He chose this declaration: God is my instant and constant supply. I speak wealth and walk in provision. At first it felt like lying. His lips stuttered. His mind resisted, but he kept going. He spoke it brushing his teeth. He spoke it before opening his banking app. He spoke it when coworkers complained. He spoke it when he received bills. He spoke it when nothing seemed to change. But the change had already begun. His vibration shifted. His expectation lifted, and soon clients outside his job began asking for help. Side projects turned into contracts. The same mouth that once echoed fear now magnetized favor. One morning he stood in his room, looked in the mirror, and said, "I do not work for a paycheck. I work for divine purpose, and I am paid in overflow." That week he resigned with no panic, no regret. He walked into his new work as an independent consultant, fully supported by spiritual law. And when asked how he had the courage to leave, he simply said, "My mouth made the decision before my body did." Beloved, you don't walk out of bondage. You speak out. You don't beg for better conditions. You create them with your word. Your job is not your source. Your habits are not your sentence. Your mouth has already chosen your future. All that's left is for you to say it and follow. Say it now. God is my instant and constant supply. I no longer serve the clock. I serve the kingdom. My words prepare the way for my wealth. What I speak today, I shall walk in tomorrow. There comes a time in every spiritual walk where declaration becomes not just a tool but a temple. When your daily words evolve into prophecy and prophecy, dear soul, is not prediction. It is the spoken shaping of spiritual fact into visible form. This is the advanced path. This is the financial prophecy ritual, and I give it to you now. Not as a curiosity, but as a command to those who are ready to stop circling lack and start installing heaven's economy into earth's hour. Each morning, for the next 7 days, before speaking to another human voice, you will prophesy aloud your financial truth, not your goals, not your budget, not your business forecast, but your divine inheritance. Stand alone, face the mirror, or your open palms. Speak with rhythm and authority. Speak with honor and fire. I now prophesy divine supply into my day. Money moves toward me freely and multiplies in my hands. I do not serve time. I command it. I am paid in full by unseen sources working now on my behalf. Every conversation today carries currency. Every action today plants profit. Every hour today overflows with favor. I walk through this day spiritually funded. When done consistently, this ritual bypasses logic and installs identity. You are not hoping to be rich. You are prophesying the wealth of spirit into the substance of matter. And the word will not return void. Do not whisper. Do not wonder. Do not wait for permission. You are a prophet of your provision. You are the mouth of your multiplication. You are the one who decrees, and it is done. Now, say this with me as the old identity dissolves. My voice is sacred. My prophecy is power. My day bends to the word I speak. My supply is permanent, plentiful, and present now. Even a trained mouth will tremble in the storm. Even a seasoned spirit will at times speak from fear instead of faith. So, what do you do when it happens? When a phrase of lack slips past your lips, when you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "That's too much," or "I'm always broke," you do not shame yourself. You cleanse. Spiritual mastery does not mean you never falter. It means you recognize, reverse, and realign faster than ever before. That is your detox. The moment you catch yourself saying words of scarcity, you pause, bless the moment, and speak this. I cancel that word. It carries no power here. I call back my authority. I speak again, this time from truth. My supply is unlimited. My wealth is divine. My provision is now. You don't dwell in regret. You don't spiral into guilt. You simply reclaim your dominion. Every time you correct your tongue, you purify the temple of speech. You fortify your alignment with divine mind. Do not fear the slips. They are signs of the old system breaking down. Each correction is a clearing. Each reset is a resurrection. Let your spiritual self speak louder than your emotional reflex. Remember, your words are not just reflections. They are directives. And even one strong declaration of truth can dissolve 10 years of habitual fear. So say this with me now. I forgive the slip. I reinforce the truth. I bless my voice. I do not punish it. My wealth is not denied because of a moment. It is secured by eternal law. I return to truth instantly, joyfully, and boldly. You are not fragile. You are being You are not broken. You are being rewired. Slip if you must, but never stop speaking, because the wealth you seek is not offended by your learning curve. It is magnetized by your return. There is a spiritual portal that opens not in the bank, not in the stock market, not in the job offer, but in the hour when the world sleeps and the soul stands alone. Midnight is not just the time on the clock. It is a metaphysical window, a sacred threshold where the noise of the world dies down and the voice of God is clearest. And it is in this stillness, beloved, that you are called to activate supply, not by calculation, not by effort, but by the spoken word. This is the midnight supply activation. Stand up at 12 a.m., not out of anxiety, but out of agreement. Walk to your mirror or sit upright in your bed. Do not turn on every light. Keep the atmosphere still and sacred. You are not here to perform. You are here to proclaim. Say aloud slowly, with full authority, though it is midnight, I dwell in light. Though the world slumbers, my good awakens. I declare now, divine supply is active in every direction. Unseen channels move, unexpected income flows, delayed provision is released. Money is not my master. God is my source. I go to sleep in the rhythm of wealth, and I rise in the power of provision. Then pause, breathe, feel. Let the words echo in your body. Let the vibration move through your spine. Let heaven respond. Midnight is the womb of the new day, and what is spoken in the womb is born by morning. This is not superstition. This is spiritual law. When you speak at midnight, you are declaring from the place of nothingness, the perfect place for the law of increase to work. Just as God said, "Let there be light over the void," you now say, "Let there be supply, let there be overflow, let there be ease," and it is so. So try it tonight, just once, then again the next. Do not wait for the morning to set the tone of your wealth. Command it in the night. Money that is feared, hoarded, or cursed shrinks. But money that is blessed, released, and spoken over with faith circulates and returns multiplied. Every dollar in your hand is not just a medium of exchange, it is a messenger. It carries the vibration of what you say when you give it, when you send it, when you spend it. Do not say, "This is so expensive." Do not say, "There it goes again." Do not say, "I hope I have enough left." Instead, speak as a steward of divine circulation. Speak as one who governs a never-ending flow from source to form. When you pay a bill, say, "I give thanks for this service, and I bless the money as it moves. This money returns to me multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, running over. I do not lose, I release. I do not fear, I flow." When you buy a meal, say, "This food nourishes me, and this payment blesses every hand that brought it to me. I am wealthy enough to feed my body, and rich enough to bless others in the process. This money is not gone, it is sent." Even when you invest, tithe, or gift, say, "I do not give to get. I give because I live in overflow. I plant in fertile soil, and I reap in divine timing." Money in motion is money in multiplication. Your words over money are more powerful than your spreadsheet, more potent than your wallet. For what is spoken with spiritual authority bends the very laws of return. So bless the outflow, consecrate the circulation, and trust the law to bring it back. Say this now: every dollar I spend is a divine seed. I never fear its departure. I rejoice in its return. I give with love. I receive with ease. I speak with wealth. The law of circulation is holy, and I am its joyful master. Your wealth does not disappear. It moves on command. Speak it, bless it, and it will come back, singing your name. You have trained your hands to work. You have trained your body to rise early, to push forward, to endure. But if your mouth has not been trained in wealth, then the struggle continues, disguised in productivity, because the wealth does not start in your job. The overflow does not begin in the marketplace. It begins in your mouth. The mouth is the gate of reality. The mouth is the organ of creation. The mouth is the multiplier. Your tongue is either a tool of multiplication or a servant of mediocrity. Your sentences either sow scarcity or sing abundance. And every time you open your mouth, you are either aligning with heaven or echoing fear. Now, hear me, beloved. You do not need another strategy. You need a sentence. You do not need more time. You need to train your mouth to speak time's master divine supply. The one who multiplies is not the one who hustles harder. It is the one who speaks the spiritual language of wealth. It is the one who opens the mouth with no tremble and says, "My supply is unlimited. My wealth is divine. My source is spiritual. My voice is law." Your job from this day forward is not to ask for money. It is not to chase more hours. It is to govern your words. because the one who governs their mouth governs their money, and the one who governs their money governs their world. Say this now with me. I am the mouth of multiplication. I speak only from overflow. I deny all phrases of fear. I bless my mouth. I bless my flow. I bless my increase. And I now live in wealth because I have spoken it into being. Let your words be law. Let your mouth become the throne of your dominion. And let your life multiply accordingly. Let us now seal this work in rhythm and fire. Speak with me boldly, clearly, and without pause. Each line is a law. Each word is a spiritual decree. Say them aloud, and let every syllable reorder your atmosphere. I speak, and supply responds. My mouth is aligned with divine multiplication. I do not echo fear. I enforce wealth. Every word I speak is a seed of abundance. I no longer beg. I declare. My language shapes my fortune. God and I speak increase with one voice. Say them again if you must. Write them, sing them, walk with them. For these are not just affirmations. They are activation codes in the language of the Spirit. Every time you say them, you silence the voice of lack. Every time you speak them, you reopen the gates of divine circulation. And every time you declare them, you remind the universe that you are not waiting, you are governing. This is your spoken dominion. This is your wealth in word form, and it is done, beloved soul. If these words found your mouth, it is because your spirit is ready to remember its power. You were never meant to echo lack. You were never meant to rehearse defeat. You were meant to speak the words that create worlds. And now you shall. If you receive this truth, if even one line rang like a bell in your chest, speak it back to me. Leave your comment below as your covenant. Let the heavens and the algorithm both hear it. Write this. I train my mouth to speak only unlimited supply. Declare it as a record, as a ritual, as a reminder to the self who sometimes forgets. And if your spirit knows this work must continue, then subscribe not just to this channel, but to the practice. Come back tomorrow, and the day after that. Return not to the screen, but to your own mirror, your own mouth, your own ministry of speech. Let this be your sacred rhythm. Wake, speak, multiply. Speak as one who has already received. Walk as one who has already been paid. And live as one whose wealth is not delayed, but declared. The law is active. The word is working. Your mouth has been made new. I'll meet you in the next declaration.